we're back with another exciting episode of The Storm in a Teacup, where exercise and bad commentary collide. The CrossFit regionals are going on, the first weekend of that right now, and we're going to try and stay on task today, but in reality, all of us are just sitting here looking at Lauren Brooks' ass bounce around on the live streaming. Correct?
I was actually looking at Brandon Bergen's ass.
I'm hard to see. It's so small, so skinny.
Well, he wears those baggy shorts. I don't understand why he's still wearing baggy shorts.
I feel like that's so 90s.
It is so 90s. It absolutely is 90s. It
How
disgusts
baggy
me.
is too baggy?
I think we could come up with a standard. The Storm in a Teacup could lay down a standard, and then Michelle Obama could push it across the nation to children.
She could with her new, what is it? She's taking the pyramid and morphing it into the plate or something like that.
She already did.
The food
It's
plate.
The plate. Yeah, my plate.
She's so modern. Pyramids are so old school.
She's so progressive.
What if it's a plate? Wouldn't it just be a pie chart? Or is that me?
Well,
everything looks like
not
pie
all,
to you.
Not all
True.
plates are circular. First off,
The lunchroom plates back in high school, those weren't circular.
The
Those
progressive
weren't plates.
plate is kind of like a. What is the progressive plate? What shape is it?
It's the shape of the
Dihedral?
United States. It's the shape of the United States because we're all in it. That's what shape it is right there.
no, I feel like the progressive United States is in the shape of a plate. Like it's all melded together. We're one big group. Like we're past, borders and all those times.
Or would it be
Free
a
to
mixing
be-
bowl? Would it be
Hey,
a mixing
Forrest.
bowl?
Free to be you and me.
There you go. There you go.
That's for some old timers right there.
Grant's not even old enough for
Hey,
that.
Forrest, here's something I'm old enough for. I asked you which allergy medication I should get on because my allergies are horrible right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. And you said Zyrtec. Zyrtec sucks.
So, did somebody tell you to get on chlorpheniramine?
Whoa. No one's told me anything.
Name drop.
You know you're my pharmacist, bro.
All right, dude. Well, you got to give Zyrtec like 10 days to 2 weeks, and then it's the bomb.
Hey,
Okay.
Forrest, did you just recommend chloroform as his second option? That's what I heard.
Yeah. If you will just take chloroform and pour it on a rag and put it over your nose, dude, your allergies will be perfect.
Done. You won't remember it, but it will be gone.
Okay, so we got
Well-
two problems. One, the battery's going down, and two, there are 3 ducks eyeballing the shit out of me right now, and they are not happy about me podcasting out beside their pond.
Where are you?
Went out on a picnic table at the senior center here because you guys are cussing up a storm, and the old folks don't like you very much. So
This
Are you-
entire thing is unreal to me.
Don't worry.
You are unreal.
Maxie has already taken
Ladies and
3
gentlemen-
pictures of me. I'm sure she will post them on Facebook at some point.
Ladies and gentlemen, Forrest Long is podcasting from a senior citizen home in Cincinnati, Ohio today.
Yeah.
Let that take a minute and let's let everyone digest that. Man, I think everyone at home, all of our listeners, are so curious to know what Forrest looks like, and so just like paint this image of Daddy Longs sitting with cargo shorts
Someone
on.
what
at the
the
gym asked me the other day. They said, "Who the hell is this Forrest guy?" And I went on Facebook and I pulled up the picture of him from like 3 years ago where he got nachos for his birthday, and he's sitting there with this big goofy grin on his face, and that guy is like, "Yeah, that looks about right."
Dude, every year I get nachos for my birthday and put a big stupid grin on my face. You could have showed him the one from like 4 months ago.
I didn't have that picture, bro.
Sorry.
Forrest, when is your birthday?
November.
Exactly, not 4 months ago.
What month is it? Oh my God, it's like 5 months ago.
It's May.
Whatever, bro. I don't care.
All right.
It's like 7 months ago, dude.
Listen.
So, Forrest, you are halfway between Knoxville and Chicago. So, what's the weather like in Cincinnati?
It sucks, bro. It's raining.
So, is it half as bad as the weather in Chicago? Taylor, care to comment?
It's actually like 75 and sunny here, so it's worse in Cincinnati, just like everything is worse in Ohio.
This is true. God.
True, very true.
I actually think that Rogue owns half the state of Ohio now.
Probably. It's the only
here's a
successful
question
business.
for you. How many American football teams are there national Football League, NFL for short, I think is what you guys call it. How many of those teams are in Ohio?
2.
The Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
No.
Yep. You got one there.
The bungholes and
The Bungles,
the brown eyes.
The Bungles and
the bungholes and the brown eyes.
the Bungles and the Clowns is what I like to refer to them as.
I think
Taylor-
Grant, you shouldn't make fun of the Browns. Jimmy Haslam owns the Browns, and he's from Knoxville. So.
I know, and he paid cash, which is impressive.
You know what's sad though is that he gave up, I believe it was about 10% ownership with the greatest franchise in all of NFL history.
God.
Non-debatable.
God.
Six Super Bowls. The Big Stees gave up like 10% ownership of the Steelers.
To be
he jumped
fair,
all in
though-
with the Browns. He went all brown.
To be fair, though, Pittsburgh is the Cleveland of Pennsylvania. So
Yeah. Everybody knows that
Well-
Pennsylvania is a Philadelphia Eagles state.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's laughable. Yep.
So if you guys could choose, so I know a big thing in the group text messages has been the draft going on lately, and I just don't even participate. I actually was playing poker last night and looked at my phone at one point and I had 83 messages, and I showed it to the guys to the left and right of me, and we had a chuckle. And you guys
You and
were
your
discussing-
soccer friends.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
In-
my football friends, my real
who
football
were you
friends.
playing with? They were all soccer people, weren't they?
They were also. I was actually an old soccer coach from high school, and we were discussing the merits of the EPL, the English Premier League, top to bottom, versus the Spanish La Liga, top to bottom, and just going into that. So let me ask you this: I mean, it's well known that I'm not a fan of American football, but if I were to be a fan this season, I'm curious who you three would choose for me to cheer for. Which team should I cheer for?
The 49ers.
No, okay, I don't want to cheer. No, you can't choose any of your teams. I'm never with you, Forrest. I always want to be against you.
So are you
I
looking
like
for?
that.
Are you looking to
I think-
ride the emotional highs and lows of football season? Do you just want to be a winner? I mean, like, what do you want?
You know me. I want to be built from the ground up. I want to talk, front
I think-
office, back office, left office,
be a Browns fan.
bottom office.
Be a Browns fan and start today.
No,
Dude,
and start
get
today.
off
No,
that train
I would say,
before it
knowing Grant, I would think that he would like to cheer for either the Seahawks
Oh,
or the
what
Packers.
the shit would you cheer for the Seahawks for? You're such a dick.
Because that team has been built from the ground up. The community is really behind that. It's like the team is very close within the community, and more importantly than anything else, it would drive you absolutely insane.
The only reason they're
All right,
close to the
wait,
community is
wait.
because their pharmacists give them all Adderall. So, yeah, bro. They're real close to the
All right,
community.
Oh yeah.
let me chime in. Let me chime
No
in real quick.
49er has ever been accused of any wrongdoing within the last 6 months.
We have
Good job, buddy.
brass knuckles and AKs. It's totally different.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. So this is my 2 cents. So Grant, his favorite team is FC Barcelona, and
The
he
team
got
has to win somewhat. It has to win
right.
somewhat for
but
him.
at the same time, like he didn't just jump on the bandwagon whenever they were 5 years into being kind of like that dominating force they are now. So I think that it would fit him best if he were to find a team that's kind of got a lot of talent. They have a great coach, and they're kind of like the up and coming team. So I'm gonna go with like the Kansas City Chiefs, or someone that a team that has a long history, but they have a lot of young talent that's going to mature over the next few years. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Is that Mike Shanahan out there at the Chiefs?
No. It's Andy Reid.
No.
But no.
Who left-
I would not pick the Chiefs because no matter how much talent the Chiefs have, and they've had a lot over the years, they immediately find some way to screw it up. They had
I mean, they didn't
12 Pro Bowlers last year, and still they sucked balls.
They didn't suck
they're the
balls.
worst.
They had like 4 losses.
Metaphorically,
all of them to a
Forrest.
team that ended up in the Super Bowl. No, I would seriously, now that I thought about it, I would still go with the Browns. Look at the Browns drafts the last 2 years. They're a horrible team. They always find a way to lose, but they're picking good players. They just got the most popular guy in the NFL draft. I mean, you're going to have highs and lows this year, and in a couple of years, they could actually be pretty decent. So,
Wait, they picked up Manziel, right? I hate
I hate
Exactly.
Johnny.
I hate
I hate
him.
Ben Roethlisberger's sloppy burger, but
I do too, but I love the Steelers. Hey, Forrest, who
I don't even like my
relate
quarterback. I hate my quarterback too.
I'm right there with you. I hate Roethlisberger. He's a chump, but I'm no Fairweather fan. So,
Forrest, you hate
I'm just
everyone.
That's true.
Any
Forrest,
human being
I want,
that breathes, he hates.
I want you to compare the Browns to a CrossFitter. Who is the
Oh, my
CrossFitter? Who is the Browns of CrossFit?
Oh man.
Taylor, feel free to throw your hat in the ring here too.
The only analogy that I can come up,
I would say it's Nate Schrader.
I was gonna say it is Nate Schrader. That's what I was gonna say.
All right, defend your point. Defend your choice.
Like you said, they have plenty of young talent, and they've never been able to live up to expectations. And Nate Schrader is
find
in
a
the
way to
exact
lose.
same boat. Finds a way to lose.
12th in the games,
No.
15th in the games.
all right,
He's losing.
see if you bite on this one. I was gonna say,
Hey,
Austin,
if you're not first, you're last, Caleb. That's rule number one.
I was gonna
the
say
Ricky Bobby CrossFit quote. Nice.
Austin Maliola always wins his region, goes to the games. He had one decent year, I guess, but
And then he
but then he
dies.
dies. So that was my thought.
I like Forrest's pick better.
Or would it be Daniel Petro?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Currently,
Too
Daniel
soon? Is it
Petro
too soon?
is kind of shit in the bed. It's some
As we
messy
speak.
sheets down there in the southeast.
Is he losing to Brandon Bergen?
No.
Okay, then it can't be that bad.
It can. That's.
Hey, Brandon
no
Bergen
one
made it
is
to
right now
regionals.
losing to Brandon Bergen.
Brandon
so-
Bergen made it to
Yeah,
regionals.
hey. Yeah, before we knock on Brandon Day, let's just go ahead and say how proud of Brandon we are, like making it further. Well, I guess Taylor made it to regionals, but he cheated in some way, somehow. I know he did.
How did I cheat?
Because
Did you get
I got
last regionals,
16th.
Taylor?
I got 16th, son.
Well, at
16th,
regionals?
2011.
No, I think it was the.
Boom.
Did you get at
Boom.
regionals or the Open?
Regionals. I got 16th.
That's
Go back and
nice.
pull it up.
in the
buddy.
Central East too.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
The
Suckers.
hardest
Bro.
region of all time, anywhere, anytime.
Explode.
Well, still, I think it should be said how proud we are, Brandon. He's made it further than.
I am proud of you,
than
Brandon.
3/4
I am
Hey,
proud
of
of
this
you.
podcast.
Forrest, have you ever dropped in at Brandon Bergen's gym down in Atlanta at his home gym?
Not if he has a drop-in fee.
In his house?
What's wrong with the drop-in fee?
It's dumb. It's the dumbest thing about CrossFit of all time.
Wait, charging
Defend
for your
your-
services?
defend your-
Well, that depends.
Defend
Now,
your point of view.
I will
That's not
say,
free
I will
market.
say, Grant Scalf is a little bit different than a lot of coaches because he actually offers services. But many times when I drop in to a gym, they're like, "Yeah, I mean, if you want to do your own thing, you can go do your own thing, or you can go with the class." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm not here to act the fool. I'll do whatever the class is doing."
do you really say that?
No, that's what. But I'll say no. I'm going to do whatever the class.
I'm not going to be
is doing.
showing out today. I'll tell you that.
Nah, dog. I
But
ain't
then
acting
they
no
charge me
fool.
$20 and don't coach me in any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad that I just gave you $20 for an hour of your time that you didn't even give me. So yeah.
Well, then why don't you just go work out in a field somewhere?
That's what I do a lot of times. What do I would just go run for 5
That's what
miles.
you're doing
like-
at the senior services home.
Yeah.
right?
They got shake weights.
No,
and
he's-
all
Everything
kinds of
he
crap.
does is in a
Leading-
field.
Water jazzercise tomorrow at the senior center. Hey, Forrest, the lights were on. I bet they probably had fans running for you. That cost money.
Yeah, and I
Did
just
you use any
paid.
barbells.
Do what?
You did not pay $20 for their coaching.
No, I didn't-
You paid
no,
$20
let me
for
say-
the use of their equipment.
I didn't pay anything today. I dropped into a place called CrossFit Blue Ash, and they were awesome. Just following with the coaches, we all were on the same barbell, same platform. Cool as hell. No drop-in fee. And I was like, you know what? T-shirt. Because, I mean, the drop-in fee is
Well, let me
stupid.
ask
Just tell
you.
me I
Let
need
me
to
ask
buy
you
a
this
T-shirt
though,
for
like
$15.
How of all your drop-ins, Forrest, and I mean this seriously. Like, how many have actually charged you a $20 drop-in fee for dropping in and not waived it?
Give it
the
to
first
us
time,
in a
the first time?
percentage.
I've probably dropped.
Yeah.
I probably dropped into 10 places. No, I probably dropped in more than that. What am I saying? Probably like 15 places, and I would say more than 10. More than 10 have. Where it's just straight up like they don't get to know you or anything, which is fine. They don't know me. I don't know them. But it's like you walk in, they're like, yeah, it's a $20 drop in. I usually always ask them the same thing. I'm like, well, can I just do the T-shirt? And some of them at that point have been like, yeah, we'll do the T-shirt. Or some like, no, we don't do the T-shirt thing here. I'm like, okay, well.
How many? All right, so how you say over 10? So let's just call it 10 out of 15 actually charge you a drop-in fee. How many of those 10 let you do the T-shirt thing?
Three or four.
Okay, so what we're really getting at is probably about half are actually charging just a straight up $20 fee to like use the facilities is what we're saying.
Yeah, but if you don't get the T-shirt, you have to say like you're paying the drop-in
But I think
fee.
that's pretty.
No, that's
I mean,
fair. If somebody
I think
says
that's pretty fair.
If somebody says T-shirt, I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine. I don't even get my shirt. I give it to Maxie. Maxie has a handful of shirts from
Well,
your
she
gym.
gives you her shirts, obviously,
Yeah.
after the Arnold's, what we saw you wearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Support your sorority, Forrest. Support your sorority.
Your local sorority. Forrest, I don't know. I feel like we had a conversation previously where you were unhappy with the fees in general that CrossFit gyms were charging. Did we sway your opinion at all on that?
No, not really. Because I mean, you got to make your money. Like Grant, you provide quality product, and I get that, and you got to make your money for that because this is your trade. You go home, you study strength and conditioning. You are doing this for people, so you are good at what you do. So you should be paid for that. But I mean, a lot of people, man, they rip you off. Like I've gone to a lot of just horrible gyms, and I'm just like, hey, the hell are you doing to your clients here? This is not good coaching. And to think that some of these people are paying $150, which I mean, it's kind of expensive. It's a somewhat expensive hobby.
A lot of them are. Hey, let me tell you, based on my experience, $150 is low end these days.
It is.
By the way.
It honestly is. I don't disagree with you in that any way, shape, or form. But I think like if you're going to charge somebody that amount of money, like you need to be like Grant. You need to dedicate yourself to your craft and make sure you know what you're talking about and make sure
Not
you give
everyone
100.
can be as learned as the Grant Scalf.
That's true.
Or the Caleb Boaz.
That's true. But
and the Taylor Lehman, because we taught him everything he knows.
That's true. This is the whole reason that Cincinnati
I wouldn't say
Barbell Club
everything.
has never called Forrest back. they know, they've heard the tales of Forrest Long, and they're like, F that. He can't. I'm not going to call that guy back. That's the guy that's not going to pay us anything.
Yeah, he's not going to pay us anything, and then he's going to get on the social media and just shit all over our gym. So
It's like,
Well, let me ask you this, Forrest. What about a situation like this? Like, let's say you're a CrossFit gym owner and you're in a place that's a prime vacation destination. Like, let's use
Myrtle Beach. Use CrossFit Myrtle Beach or Hilton Head.
Myrtle Beach. Let's say Myrtle Beach. Like, and you're getting like 30 or 40 drop-ins a day during certain times of the year, obviously. Like, how do you not charge those people? Because at a certain point, like, you know, you have 30. Let's say you have 10 or 15 drop-ins in a class on top of, you know, 10 actual members. Like, that's a significant burden on you as a coach to coach all those people, and you need to be making money off of those people because to keep your business running, you can't just be giving away, you know, 30 or 40 free training sessions a day.
And even
you know what I mean?
even if they're not doing the class, it's such an inconvenience to use limited real estate within the
Right,
gym.
you have limited resources.
Right.
Exactly, they're taking up space that your members could
And-
potentially be using.
And I'll build on that. There's the intangible effect of your members looking at them going, why do they get to do their own thing?
Yeah,
So and then you can't even put a price on that.
Listen.
especially if they're
I totally
if they're
agree.
working out for free. Like, this person gets to come in and do whatever they want, and they're not getting charged, and then I'm paying $150, $200 a month to come in, and you know, you're not going to let me do whatever I want. I mean, I'm not saying
CrossFit
it's right or
K-Town
wrong, I'm
Unlimited is
just-
150. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out online, CrossFitKtown.com.
Hey, I should say that
Next
I
on-ramp
totally,
starting the first Tuesday of June. Here we go.
I totally agree with everything you're saying. You kind of picked like an exception to the rule there. I mean, not every place is going to have drop-ins like that. But no, I totally agree.
But-
They should charge a drop-in fee because one, that they are coming in there and just crapping on your class, and it's 40 people. You don't know. Have they been CrossFitting an hour? Have they been CrossFitting 10 years? So yeah, I think in certain situations like that, yeah, you should charge them a drop-in. $20,
And-
a little expensive though. Maybe $10 because I mean you're paying. Let's look at it this
well,
way. If someone's paying $150 to come to K-Town, they're not coming 30 days of the month, but we'll say 30 days in a month. So they're paying $5 a visit. What's wrong with like $10? I mean, it's I mean, it's just $20 is not.
So I'll say this. I think because whenever a coach knows the people there, they've spent time with them already. So saying $10 or even $5, that's that's unfair to someone that you don't know who they are. Yeah, if they provide their, list of credentials or their fitness resume and you have a better understanding of what they're capable of, then that's fine. But if they're going to come and suck all the coach's time away from the rest of the class, then you don't know that.
Yeah.
So all those unknowns increase the risk factor, so you need to be compensated financially for taking that risk.
And like you said, Forrest, there's a lot of, there are bad CrossFits out there, and people drop in and they're like, and I had this experience a few weeks ago. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last, where someone came in like, oh, I've been CrossFitting for 3 years, and you're like, all right, cool, like, you don't look like it, but all right, like, I trust you. And you get going, and you're doing something simple like back squats, and you realize, man, they don't even know how to squat. Like, what the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, you have a class of, let's say 10 people, and that one person is taking up so much of your time because you're just trying to keep them from getting hurt at your gym and suing you, and when they're just a drop-in. You know what I mean?
The one person that you very likely will never see again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can agree with that. I mean, I can definitely agree with what you're saying there.
And the reason I used the outlier thing was because before 2011 regionals, Jess and I dropped in and did some training stuff at CrossFit Hilton Head, and they were totally awesome about the whole thing and the drop-in fee, and we having the conversation with them and just sitting there, and they're super cool. Like, they have to charge a drop-in fee because like 75% of the people who come to their gym are drop-ins, and so that's what keeps their doors open, because there's not many people live on Hilton Head like 24/7.
Man, we should open up.
Days a year.
We should open up a franchise of CrossFit gyms called CrossFit Drop-In. All like the destination spots throughout the world, just only for CrossFitters.
Well,
like in have a little one in Key West, have one in like
Forrest, you can
Maui
run them
or something.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I will say though, like with what Taylor's saying, I've been to CrossFit Hilton Head before too, and those guys are totally cool. I was there for I think like 4 days or something, and I was going to end up going there for 3 days. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably be here 3 days. So they're like, here, like $20 and just come all 3 days and you're fine. I was like, cool, awesome. Thanks for throwing me a bone. And I think Grant, if I'm not mistaken, you said you did something like that, where if they're going to be in town for a week, you pay what, $20, $25?
So yeah, currently we are first time is always free, and then it's $10 a session after that, or $30 for the week.
And that's awesome. That is perfect.
But I know you like that, but I've been wrestling with this issue for the past couple months. I think I'm going to change it. I think no longer will the first session be free, and I really am thinking about going to $20 a visit, just because, all the reasons that we stated. Like you said, Forrest, I don't think that you have a problem so much with a drop-in fee being $20. I think you have a problem with unqualified coaches charging too much, charging $20 for an experience and for a coaching expertise that lacks. So I think maybe that's your problem with the drop-in fees as it relates to drop-in fees and just monthly costs at CrossFit gyms. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Like, what value am I getting? What am I getting for what I'm paying? Like, I don't have a problem with it at CrossFit K-Town because I know what I'm getting. I've seen the results. But if you go to, just hypothetical
look
CrossFit,
at those abs.
Yeah, dude, look at my 10-pack. But if you go to
but yeah, if you're paying a couple $100 a month, like, you expect a quality product, a very quality product.
Yep, that's pretty much.
Hey, Forrest, walk me through the journey of what it's like whenever you drop into a gym. Like, whenever you get up and you're like, all right, I'm representing CrossFit K-Town here. I'm going to go in.
I love.
Like, what do you?
I love
what do
where
you
you're
wear?
going with
like,
this.
What do you pack? Do you pack like, hey, this is the best shirt that I look good in? Hey, I'm not going to take my jump rope because I'd look like a shithead if I.
Dude, I'm not
I'm
taking
gonna
a
make
jump
sure-
snatching
rope.
today.
I'm not taking a
only
jump rope
wearing-
with me anywhere.
Forrest, when you drop in, like, how often do you crush like everyone in the gym? Because I'd be curious about that, because you're terrible at CrossFit now.
Has he ever
you're just
crushed
weak.
everyone in the
Dominated
gym
today.
before?
Yeah, like, what do you choose? I'm sure you have your like drop-in workouts
No.
that
You
you.
I
dominated today
I
at the
fo-
senior
I
citizen.
follow the class workouts. Whatever they do is what I'm doing.
Really?
Unknowing and unknowable, dog.
I do not believe you at all.
No,
You're
I
going to
do.
go in, you're going to do some strict handstand push-ups, you're going to snatch 135 for reps, you're going to do some ring dips.
No,
Heavy
Forrest is the
deadlifts.
guy. I totally see him going in and like acquiescing to whatever's on the board. But let's say they're squatting. In between each set, he's going over, hitting his ring dips, hitting his handstand push-ups, and then coming back to the squats.
Getting
and
that
the
chest
members,
nice and puffy.
No,
the
today.
members and the coaches are looking at him like, who is this asshole like grunting during his ring dips over here?
No, okay, so here's the best
Kipping
part.
the
though.
crap out of him.
Caleb's actually onto something, and I do it more now than I did before. Like when I was actually a member at K-Town, and I'd have a stupid-ass K-Town shirt on, I'd be like, damn it. They're going to, whatever, if I act a fool in here, or if I say something stupid, they're going to be like, ooh, CrossFit fucking K-Town sucks. So I'm on my way over to the gym today, and I'm like, God, where's another shirt at? I don't want them to know I ever went to CrossFit K-Town. Digging through, I can't find another shirt except for another CrossFit K-Town shirt, and I was like, damn it, bad wardrobe choice for the week. So I walk in there, and they're like, oh, you're a member at CrossFit K-Town? And I was like, no, not really. I was like, I used to go there. My friend owns it. I just work out at home, and yeah. He's like, oh, so you're a garage gymmer? And I was like, yeah. So
CrossFit Nomad. I follow CrossFit Nomad.
And immediately you say, yeah,
You know how
I'm a
angry
CrossFit
I am right
garage
now,
guy,
right,
and they're
Caleb?
like, oh, God.
well, so he's like, as soon as I said that, he goes, I need you to sign the waiver. And I started chuckling. But yeah, I go in there. I'm like, well, what do you guys got planned today? He's like, oh, it's open gym. It's 2 hours. And I was like, well, I'll just hang out with you and do whatever you do if that's cool. He's like, yeah. He's like, we've got snatch and clean from power position on the blocks, and then back squat 3, 3, 3, and 3, and then we're gonna do Nate. So immediately I was like, shit, 20 minutes of conditioning, great. I get to shit myself in front of everybody. So did all the barbell work, went over, set myself up for Nate, and then I get a phone call from Maxie. She's like, where you at? We're getting ready to go to Skyline Chili. You said you'd be back by 11:30. And I was like, babe, we're getting ready to start Nate. It only takes like 20 minutes, and then I can be back at the senior center in 10 minutes. And she's like, get your
What are you doing? Right? You're giving us like the back and forth between you and Max.
well, you said, man. So then I just basically had to walk up to the guy. I was like, hey, thanks for letting me get on the barbell with you. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to condition today, which was actually pretty awesome. So, yeah, and that was my little drop in today, the short little gist of it.
Did you wait? The most important part of this for me. Did you eat Skyline Chili today?
Yeah, it sucks. It's not me.
It is
It's
awful.
like diarrhea.
It is awful.
It's the worst. All of Cincinnati, if you listen to this podcast, I'm telling you right now, you think that chili is good, but it is diarrhea.
Dogs,
It is the
you need to
worst
shut up
ever.
because now you got like 30 old people and the ducks are all looking at me now. People are getting pissed.
Yeah, but it's like when you eat gluten for a long time and then you come off of it, and this kind of like fog lifts, and you're like, oh, this is what life is all about. I feel like it's the same way with people in Ohio and Skyline Chili. Like that's all they know, so they just think it's the mecca of all
it's like,
chili.
It's mainly a Cincinnati thing, though. It's like not the rest of Ohio. It's really just Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Like they're the only ones that really like.
And
it.
Well, I
I
think
found out
I
today
think-
there's one in Naples, Florida, because apparently the owner lives in Naples, so he decided to ruin the city of Naples and put a Skyline Chili there.
Man, I feel like the reason that it's good is because their baseline is so low because they live in effing Ohio.
Yeah.
So everything, even the really
They can
crappy
get
things
they
are
get
just
excited
great.
about the Bengals. So they're like, hey,
Exactly.
we have the compared to the Bengals, this chili isn't that bad. Like, oh.
Well, the best part is the way they talk about it. It's like you get a 3-way, a 4-way, or a 5-way. So I walk in and they're like, oh, you want a 3-way? And I'm like, yeah. Hey,
That's
Maxie, can you go wash your hands in the bathroom while I get a 3-way?
I feel like that's a great way to compare yourself every day. If you're ever having like a really bad day, be like, compared to the Browns, I'm doing pretty good. So for all you guys who are just really doing terrible, Daniel Petro, compared to the Browns, you're doing really good at regionals, buddy.
Oh man.
So Forrest, obviously not a fan of drop-in fees. Can you tell me something else that you're not a fan of? Let's stay in this vein for a second. What else grinds your gears? Talk to me.
Brandon Bergen.
No, Come on now.
You guys go way back.
Get the order right, Forrest. We set you up. God bless.
You try to pull an alley-oop, and he just bricks it.
Ah, man. So wait, tell me what about Brandon Bergen bothers you?
The fact-
Maybe he's doing this in a roundabout way.
The fact that he's not winning regionals. That's what grinds my gears.
Nope, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down your little path. I did a 180. I went behind the back, dog.
Okay, so Forrest is called an audible. How much battery life do you have left, Forrest?
We're at 64%. We're good, dog. I can go all
good.
day. This rain that's starting to fall is not a good thing.
I'm sure there's many umbrellas at the senior
Nope.
center.
They don't go out in the sun, dog.
Steal a power cord from someone's oxygen machine and use it to power your computer.
So the regionals weekend is upon us. It's happening right now. What do we have? Southeast, North Central, and Latin America. Is that the
And Canada West.
Canada West.
Yeah.
Canada West? Wow.
AKA Lucas Parker, Canada.
He's not even
Right.
winning, is he?
region.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he
I thought
is.
Filkowski was up yesterday.
No, you're wrong.
No.
All right.
Forrest.
He is.
Jeepers.
He's actually tied with Fikowski. But he is in
Eat
first.
a dick.
But he is. He's actually in
He's
first.
still tied
though.
for first. He's still in first.
He is
sharing
in
the
first
region.
because he had a one. Well, no, he's actually in first because he has a first place finish and Fikowski doesn't. Yeah. So you're wrong again.
So have the events that we've gone through so far. We've had Friday's events, and they're running through Saturday's events now. So we had the 1 rep max hang squat snatch. They had 3 attempts there, and then they did a max distance handstand walk. Then they did Nasty Girls version 2, which is pistols, and those hang power cleans are a little bit heavier. What do you guys think about Friday's festivities? Let's talk Southeast, because I think most of our listenership is probably most familiar with the Southeast. So who surprised you? What events? Do you like it? Do you like it so far? Taylor, tell me all about it.
I like it so far. Actually, I liked the first 2 events specifically. I thought the snatch and then the heavy snatch and then the right into a gymnastic movement. I thought it was good. Workout wise, as far as being entertaining from a fan standpoint, I thought it was super boring and not that entertaining at all. But I thought it was very good, and they did it on Friday when not that many people were probably watching. So that all made sense to me.
Do you think there is room for like a CrossFit sideshow to keep people entertained while the boring events are going on?
Like
Like
you have rodeo clowns?
No, like
Or maybe just hire some midgets to run around and
in that
I don't
vein,
know.
or you could just have John North pop in and do shenanigans. John North's weightlifting league could do sideshows for CrossFit.
I was gonna say you could just let him listen to this podcast.
I don't think that would be very entertaining.
We could be we could be the official jesters of the CrossFit Games.
Now we're talking.
Event 3, I liked. I surprisingly liked it. Like I thought that there were just way too many pistols, and that's probably my own personal biases talking. But I have to say that I was honestly impressed the way the athletes just kind of motored through Event 3. And I also thought that Daniel Petro has been underachieving, question mark?
Well, let me ask you this. What has he done in the past?
He went to the games and placed
nothing.
top 15.
But he did it once, right?
Yeah, he did it once. I mean, and
Just
that's
like
impressive.
Schrader.
No doubt.
It's impressive, but like maybe he got lucky with the workout selections.
I mean,
I don't
very
even
true.
think he's elite.
Very true.
He is very good.
Brandon
neat-
Bergen got a little bit lucky in the Open, so
I hope some of that luck comes back from for Event 5 on legless.
I think it will. I think that he stands to do pretty well in that, to be honest.
I actually think I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he gets top. I'm going to say top 6 on that workout.
I think so.
top 6
On legless?
Top 6 on legless.
I think
Yep.
What's the bet?
I think top 15, top 20.
What's the bet? Because I
What's
want
the
to
bet,
take
Forrest? What do you want the bet to be?
that. Oh,
I
man.
bet you.
I'll-
I bet you an all-inclusive weekend stay at the senior center of your choice.
Okay. Deal.
Forrest,
and
for you and Maxie.
I bet you 3 drop-ins at CrossFit K-Town.
that he takes. that he
Which
takes
pretty soon
top
that'll be a
six.
$60 value.
You're saying top 6, Caleb?
I think he takes top 10, maybe
Okay.
even top 5. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that bet with you too.
All right.
Okay,
What are you
so-
betting?
Don't
I'm
even
gonna
worry
bet
about
you-
it because I'm not losing. When I lose, we'll talk about
Hey,
that. I'll get
Forrest,
handsy.
you want to put $20 on the line?
Well, then how the hell am I supposed to drop in somewhere tomorrow? No, yeah.
Okay,
hey,
so
hey, I'll
20
throw $20 in there that Brandenburg does not take top. What are we saying? 5 or 6? Because
I am
he's gonna,
saying 6.
Okay.
Your bet with me is for top 6.
All right, and that's not a tie. If he ties, then he automatically goes to 7th because it's Brandon, and because I hate you,
Okay, word up.
Brandon. I swear, if you're freaking good at legless rope climbs, God, I will kill you. I know that he sent you a text.
He is good at 'em.
He sent
He's
you. A,
very
he
good at
sent
'em.
you a text like an hour ago. It's like, yeah, I've been really working my legless rope climbs.
Hey, Forrest, he sent me a text about every event and said, I think this is my event. I think this is the one.
There's no way that he saw 150 pistols. Even he probably sent you a text. It's like, yeah, I'm probably DNFing this one. That's got to be a horrible feeling.
Oh yeah, when the first day's workouts came out, he was crestfallen. He texted me and was like, "Well, had a good run."
Man.
Uh,
When I saw 150 pistols, I'm not even doing the regionals workouts, and I was like, oh my God, that is terrible. Like, I felt sick to my stomach over
hey,
it.
which one is legless?
Let me-
Is that 4, 5, 6,
It is-
something?
It is. I think it's tomorrow's event, isn't it?
It's event 5.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
okay,
it's today. It's today.
I want to say this about the competition so far. I've been more impressed with the women than I have been with the men. How
I
Is
agree with
that is that because you hold the men to a higher standard, or
I think the women have come further along in the last year than the men have.
I would agree.
So maybe that's why I'm more impressed. I mean, the men's numbers are impressive, no doubt. I mean, you're already seeing a couple of guys hit 285 on the snatch. I mean, I would say just quickly looking over the numbers, the average male hang snatch score is about 245, 250, which, dang, I mean, that's in 3 attempts. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Well, maybe 245, 250 is a little high. Maybe 235 is a little bit more appropriate. But, I mean, that's impressive. But then you're seeing some, I mean, Elizabeth Akinwale hit 200 yesterday, and you're seeing like 185-pound snatch is no longer like the top score. That's insane. These, like, I would say for the women, your average score is about 150, which is
Yeah.
crazy. From a
I
couple
would-
years
I
ago.
agree. I agree with you completely. Like, I think the women have come a lot farther, but I think you also have to consider the fact that, like, at least with the North Central, like, the women on the on the North Central side are so much stronger. Like, in general, like, there's so many really, really, really good women in the region, and like the top 5 guys are really good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a big drop off. Like, there's definitely not as deep. And I would say, as far as the Southeast, like, yeah, there's some really good guys all across the board there, and some really good women all across the board, but you still don't really have, like, the tip-top guys who are going to put up the crazy, not who are, for these workouts, are going to put up the crazy numbers. Like, you're going to see crazy numbers in the Central East. Like, some of those guys are crazy. In NorCal, SoCal, like, even the Northeast, like, there's some just dominant lifter type guys in those regions, and I think you're going to see just more crazy numbers. And the second thing is, obviously, it's the first weekend, so you're going to see everything go up exponentially as well. So
I think
don't know.
something
I
that's
agree with
been-
you so far.
I think something that's been very interesting so far is like this influx of maybe not really new names, but like all of a sudden those, I guess the Southeast is kind of, it's always kind of been, it shakes up from year to year, but especially in the North Central, as we speak, after 4 out of 7 events, Elizabeth Akinwale is tied in a 3-way tie for 3rd place. And Stacy Tovar is in 7th place.
Yeah.
And we have
See, I was,
like 2, like Jessica Schultz, which I've heard of her before, but who is in 1st with only 14 points. is Alexandra Lachance.
Lachance?
Lachance?
Lachance.
I remember the first time I saw
Lachance.
Julie Foucher's name, and I was like, Julie Foucher.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up, Julie Foucher? And I watched her do 50 strict handstand push-ups in the team event at the Central East Regional, and I literally pissed my pants.
So Lachance was an All-American gymnast at the University of
Yep.
Arkansas, so that's kind of a big deal. Oh, and she's a fitness model.
Hey. All right. So
She's a Renaissance woman, if you will.
she's so progressive.
So getting back, so first off, to echo Caleb, yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this going to be my first games without Stacy Tovar? I'm not even going to watch the CrossFit games. But, getting back to the improvement of the women, I think on average the baseline was just lower because, honestly, working out for women, this style of working out, weight training, that sort of thing, it just really wasn't cool until CrossFit. So they had a lot more ground to make up. A lot of dudes came to the sport strong and with a background in different energy system trainings, whatever it was, triathlons, you name it. But I think for a lot of women, they just came to the sport weak from just long distance running and triathlons and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you think about that, Forrest?
Sorry, dog. I'm watching these ducks. They're creepy over here.
Bless.
No,
Taylor, you go ahead. He had something.
I think you're right. Like I think you're seeing more women coming to the front, and I think part of that too is like just time going on. Like more women have had time to develop that strength base, and so you're starting to see these names that have been finishing, middle of the pack towards the bottom of regionals because they haven't been just had that baseline strength, and now they've had time to develop that, and now they are challenging the tip top athletes for their spots. Whereas, like you said, I mean, it's kind of it's just like we always talk about with the team competition. Like even now, your team goes as your women go. If you have strong women who are able to just motor through stuff, then your team has a really good chance of placing very highly at regionals. And because having strong guys has been until this point much less difficult to get. I mean, a lot of guys just start lifting weights when they're middle school, high school, maybe even before that. So
very true. It's almost like whenever, from a coach's standpoint, from a regional or games lens, if you're wearing that, seeing a very fit woman walk into the gym with a lot of potential is a lot more appetizing, if you will, than seeing a guy come in that already has big numbers.
I think your word choice is poor, calling these women appetizing, Caleb.
I wasn't calling them appetizing. I was
Way
calling
to
their
go.
potential. Their potential is appetizing. Forrest, you're the most womanizing son of a bitch, other than old Wonder Nice Bergen.
No, dude. Hey,
Wonder
what
Nice.
I was gonna say is I agree with Grant. I think it's more of a cultural. Like it's cool to be strong now. For the longest time, how many times was that the what women would say like, oh, lifting, it's going to make me big. I don't want to look big. Well, now it's cool to have muscles.
Bulky.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so bulgy.
Yeah, now
If
it's
being
cool.
strong is cool, you can just call me Miles Davis.
Davis.
But yeah, I mean, I think culturally there's a shift in women, like in womanhood, womandom, whatever it is. I don't know what they're calling it nowadays, but
Womanacity.
yeah, like it's cool to be strong, and now that it's not viewed with such a negative viewpoint, so now you see these women like Stacy Tovar or Elizabeth Agwali who are going out there snatching more than some guys, and God, she would own me like hang snatch. I'm doing maybe like 170, so yeah.
No,
I think
you'd be a lot
170 is
closer
real
to your
optimistic
one
for
right
Bull
now.
crap. Dude, I'm hitting 170. That's conservative. I'm hitting 170. Either way, she's owning me, so God, that sucks so bad.
I think the other thing, I think it's important to realize too, like the women who are coming out of nowhere, so to speak, right now. I mean, they've all been. It's like when Dan Bailey came out, quote unquote, came out of nowhere in like 2011. It's like he'd already been he'd been CrossFitting for 5 years, and so a lot of these women have been training CrossFit for several years now, and now we're just seeing kind of the fruits of their labor, so to speak, coming. Finally blossoming. And I want to keep going with this metaphor. Help me, Grant.
Well, I think you're talking about Yeah, crap. I was trying to bring photosynthesis into it and like a progenics, like a supplement kind of thing, but I couldn't.
Man, that
do
would have
it.
been
Loop it
late.
around, man.
Oh, whew.
Man.
Let me-
He's exhausted from.
I'm spent.
So the event 4 just finished up for the Southeast men. I knew this. I didn't want this to happen, but I knew it was going to. Where I just get caught up like leaderboarding the whole time we're
yeah.
podcasting.
Yep.
I was actually looking at it at the same time you were. But
Yeah. So for a hot minute until that last heat finished, Alex's little brother in the Southeast, Jacob Anderson, he was in first place for that event 4. I think he's going to end up in third, which is a fantastic finish for him on the handstand push-up workout. Did it in 10 minutes and 44 seconds. Goodness gracious, that's fast. Forrest, can you even, if you just had to do and handstand push-ups is your bag. Everyone knows that listens to this podcast. If you just had to do the handstand push-ups from that workout, could you go sub 10 minutes?
no. What?
21, 15, 9, 6, 3.
Yeah.
Strict handstand
So
push-ups.
you're just telling me I basically got to do like 50-something straight handstand push-ups. Yeah.
55.
Yeah.
55.
Yeah, I guess I could. Sub 10, yeah.
Sub 10?
Forrest can knock out like a good 20
Yeah,
strict handstand push-ups, no problem.
Yeah, so.
That's true.
What's the...
Not with good shoulder position. It'll be really upsetting. But
Hey, listen, I'll worry
He'll
about
get
shoulder
there.
position when I'm 40 and falling apart, Taylor. All right?
He doesn't
You're
worry
falling-
about
you're
shoulder
already falling
position
apart.
when he's dropping in at other
Yeah,
CrossFits.
seriously, dog.
You got to represent
I
K-Town.
catch my snatches out in front of me. I mean, you know how I roll.
it's just
Yes,
all
we do.
bad. It's just upsetting and
You're just
yeah,
jealous.
So- So Taylor, since you gave me your opinion on day 1, I'm curious what you thought or what you think, since they're kind of currently happening, of the events, the Saturday's events. You got the strict handstand push-ups, the front squats, and the burpees on event 4, and then you got legless rope climb and 200-foot sprint. So I want 2 things from you here. One,
Okay.
I want your opinion on strict handstand push-ups, not as it pertains to you, because I know you don't like them, as it pertains to you,
Okay.
but as it pertains to the sport. And 2, I'll save 2. I don't want you thinking about this while we're going over 1, so I'm going to save 2. Go ahead with 1.
Okay, number 1, I like the day 2 events. I actually like them a lot. The strict handstand push-up thing, I actually asked you about when we were discussing regionals workouts a few episodes ago. I actually asked you, strict handstand push-ups, ? And you said, too hard to judge, there's no way. But I like it. I like the fact that...
You just had to bring that up.
Yeah, no, I wanted you to know that I was right. That's all that
I know that
put out
I know
there.
that you have several napkins that you keep on your desk of times that you were right on the podcast. Several napkins worth.
There's like 3 napkins on the refrigerator right now.
Just another
magneted
notch
up
in the
there.
bedpost.
So, I really like that from the perspective of let's make people do something that I don't think anyone has really been training a lot of. I think kipping handstand push-ups, I would say, not to say that people don't train strict handstand push-ups at all, but I think that people probably train a lot more kipping handstand push-ups, and that's sort of become, over the last few years, has sort of become the norm. And for us OGs who remember CrossFit back in the day, like at 2010 regionals, for example, you couldn't kip. There's no kipping. That was kind of a new idea that you could kip handstand push-ups, and it was almost something they didn't think about saying you can't do, and then people just got into it. So I think that's cool, bringing stuff back around from back in the day and making, challenging people that way. My only concern with with the handstand push-up, front squat, burpee thing was the burpees, frankly. I thought that was a little bit too much pushing, like a push movement. And I also just thought it was kind of a cop-out. Like, Caleb and I talked about this the other day when he was in town visiting me. And
Love you, Tay. Love you, baby.
love you too, buddy. I'm just throwing that out there, Grant, who has never visited me in Knoxville.
Whoa,
I mean,
never?
in Chicago.
Never? Whoa.
You have not visited me in Chicago. Except for my
actually-
wedding.
And that was a big
Except for my
visit.
wedding.
It was momentous.
Yeah, but that was like 2 years ago.
There was so much one nut.
What have
that
you done for me
weekend.
lately? So, yeah, I feel like they could have just done something better than burpees, just because, yeah, I mean, burpees are burpees, whatever. And then the legless rope climb, sprint, I mean, that's a good...
Whoa.
that's
No,
just
you're
a
getting
good,
ahead of
solid
yourself.
workout.
You're getting ahead of yourself. Slow down. So I'm going to bring Caleb. Forrest, do you have anything to add to Taylor's treatise on strict handstand push-ups?
No, I like the strict handstand push-ups. I don't like the burpee coupled with.
Yeah, when I look at that thing, I'm just like, why not just do a couplet, handstand push-ups and front squats?
No. I like the triplet. I just like find something more fun. I would love to see like throw in another odd movement like the heavy med ball clean, like over the shoulder, or something else that gives your shoulders. Like gives the pressing movement, whether it's vertical or horizontal, a little bit of a break, and kind of piggybacking off what Grant said about the open workout, the last open workout. It's like you've got your horizontal press and you've got your vertical press between the burpee and the thruster, and it's like, okay, we get it, but make it. Plus, like burpees aren't fun to watch. It's just boring.
What I think would be really interesting is if they had done a toes to bar in between, like strict handstand push-ups, toes to bar, then the front squats, just from the perspective of really challenging that midline. Like I think that would be a very interesting workout, and I think it would be visually more appealing based on how they have the regionals set up this year. Because I'm just watching, I have the video pulled up right now.
Well, of course you
Sure
do.
you do.
What else
Yeah.
would you be doing?
Yeah, right. I'm not listening to what you're saying.
Well, he's Ivy League. He
But
can do
I-
multiple things at once and multitask.
But I think you could keep. I think you could keep it. I think it'd be more visually appealing, and I think it would be very interesting to see how that played out in terms of really challenging the midline, making them do. I think they could have made the front squats heavier. Honestly, I think like a 225 would be interesting, and then throw in toes to bar in between instead of burpees.
No, Taylor,
So, that's just my
why
thought.
couldn't we just go with strict sit-ups?
ab mat.
No ab mat.
ab mat
No,
sit-ups?
just strict, dog.
No.
No.
Do you think Harry Houdini was
Good.
challenging his midline whenever he asked, who was it he asked to punch him as hard as he could, and then he died from it?
It was some some
It
random.
wasn't Bruce
guy, I
Lee,
don't
was
know.
it?
Wait, Harry Houdini died?
No, it was Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's how Harry Houdini died.
I thought he was still alive.
Him and Tupac, they're somewhere right
and Elvis.
And Elvis.
All of them on the island together.
now. Yeah.
Well,
He said,
that's
challenge my midline as
That's
hard as you
screwed
can.
up, man. You just messed my day all up.
Oh, never mind.
So, Forrest, before we move on to event 5, let me ask you this. So you could do the 55 strict handstand push-ups in the 10-minute cap that I'm giving you, but
Could
if
I
you
add
added the fr-
burpees?
no. We'll leave the burpees out. Let's just add the front squat. Can you come in under the cap, the 20-minute cap for this workout?
Maybe.
If we take burpees out.
Maybe. It's going to be really close because that front squat, it's not that heavy, but it's heavy enough. That
It's like 90% of your max.
It's like double your body weight, bro.
He's running the math on a calculator.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually doing the math, but no, it's not 90%, you dick. It is. I mean, like 185 is. I don't even know what the percentage. Yeah, I'm not.
It's 195.
I mean, I'm not. I know that, but I was thinking like if it was 185, like how many times could I do it? If I put 185 on the bar, I'm like doing 10 times tops. So
That makes
You're
no
just
sense.
changing the workout
No,
completely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
I've
making
never
estimations on a
thinking-
fake
Let me just go ahead and
workout.
tell you,
Instead of
I've
thinking in your head,
never
Forrest.
front squatted 195, not once in my life, because I don't ever get to 185 and be like, ooh, let me just put fucking 10 pounds on the bar and see what happens here. So I had to think in terms of what I've had on a bar before. So no, I'm
Oh,
probably
man.
not,
Oh
because
my god.
55 reps is a lot. It'd be close. though.
It'd be a lot of fun to watch it.
Yeah,
watch it
it'd be a
happen,
lot of fun. Cock.
Man, I love listening to you just get pissed. It's so great.
Hey, you want to do
All right.
you want to do Nasty Girls V2 with me, Grant?
Sure.
I heard you liked some Nasty Girls this week.
Well, Grant is the king of pistols, and
Yeah,
that's a
I mean-
pistol
Is
workout.
he really? When has
Are
Grant
you
ever done a
kidding me?
pistol? I've never even seen him hold a pistol or do a pistol.
Forrest, at the gym, I will go from a toe touch, land in a pistol, jump up and do another toe touch, land in another pistol.
True statement. Alternating pistols too. Take that in your pipe and smoke it longs.
You've seen these legs.
Dude.
You know what they can do.
Caleb, marijuana is not legal in Tennessee, Dick. Can't smoke it.
All right.
Okay,
You
fair
didn't
enough.
say marijuana.
Um,
It's flavored tobacco.
Okay,
Forrest,
so
you're right.
so event 4, Forrest would beat us all in it, obviously. So let's go event 5, legless rope climb. Are we going to see this pattern more often now? So I mean, obviously we've seen it a little bit before, but things from last year's games showing up in next year's regionals. We're going to see more of that.
I think the. All right, so I'm not the biggest fan of the individual regionals workouts, but I think that it is making a statement more than it is. I think Castro's just trying to make a statement and say you can't just practice like efficiency and kipping and dynamic movements. You have to really drill that requisite skill strength for a lot of different things, and so because of that, because I can kind of see that. As the kind of the premise behind a lot of these workouts, I like it. But I think that you'll see a lot of legless rope climbs, strict handstand push-ups, maybe even strict pull-ups or other slow lift movements like that. I don't know. I do like the legless workout. This is probably my favorite workout of them all.
Well, I do think it is interesting
Ever?
comparing like regionals to games last year because they keep harping on it over and over. They're like, Rich Froning did a hang snatch at 225 in 2010 and walked on his hands 200 feet in 2011. And it's like, dude, that was 2 damn years ago. Quit comparing athletes to somebody from 2 years ago. So I don't know. That's getting kind of old. That was a little bit off topic, but it just pisses me off that this is going to serve as kind of like a jumping point, I think. Like, let's say somebody does this, and what did the winner do this in last year? Does anybody remember?
Do what in?
The legless.
This wasn't a workout.
Well, what was the
last
legless
year.
one last year? What did they do? The rope climbs. That was what, thrusters and legless?
It was yeah,
Okay.
legless rope climbs and thrusters.
So this is just gonna I feel like they're gonna start harping on this. Like, look at how better people are at legless rope climbs compared this year to last year.
Well, they already have.
well,
There's already been a few videos
see it.
released by HQ.
I haven't
that-
even seen that, and that just pisses me off. It's so dumb.
But that's part of it. I mean, you want to show off that your sport is evolving. That people. I mean, that's part of it.
But it's
I can
different.
understand it. It
though.
might.
It's
The whole-
sprint versus
the whole
thrusters.
Forrest, the whole point of the CrossFit Games in the beginning was to prove the efficacy of CrossFit training. And so that's why they keep harping, as you would call it, on how much better people have gotten and saying last year Games athletes struggled with this movement, and this year regionals athletes are crushing this
Because
movement.
it's a
Now, is that a
sprint.
fair comparison? No. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's a completely different workout, but I am saying that that's why. And yeah, it's a completely different circumstance. The Games athletes had no idea what was coming, and the regionals athletes have had a little bit of time to train for it. And yes, last year's legless rope climbs had a weighted movement with it rather than a sprint, and that's a completely different stimulus. I totally get all of those things. But that's why they're going to keep doing that and making you angry.
Well, anything that they do is going to continue.
Is gonna
to
make him
anger,
angry,
Yeah,
yes.
for us. Let's end with this. We're coming up on an hour. So Caleb said something a second ago about the legless rope climb, about how Castro and his crew maybe were trying to make a statement that you need to have a certain amount of requisite pulling strength. You can't just kip your way up. Because in this workout, for those at home, this is a 3.5 minute workout. This is a very fast workout. If you spend time doing that kip on the rope that you saw a lot of athletes doing last year, you're just not
Even
gonna
the women?
You're just not gonna have a top time. No. I'm talking men. You know that we're always default talking men on this podcast.
Okay.
I'm sorry, viewers, listeners, women.
We've got some very big female viewers. I just want you to know that they really like this.
Whenever you say big, what do you
mean by
mean?
that? Like they're
I mean, they view this. They listen to this podcast.
He's stumbling.
on a
He's like,
regular
I
basis.
mean,
No,
yeah.
Which reminds me, I'll have to tell you guys another story after Grant finishes his thing.
After we stop recording, you can tell us.
Yep. Yeah, I'll tell you
the
secrets.
big story. Okay.
It'll be an outtake.
So someone said this. I mean, and this I haven't even really put a whole lot of thought into this. This could totally flop and be a horrible thing to conclude on. But someone said to me that they think, or a group of people, including themselves, think that this year's regional workouts is a way, they programmed it in a way that if you're doing steroids, it really doesn't help you. And I don't know if that's just a total misunderstanding of what steroids do for you physiologically, or if there is something to that. Like, I guess they're saying, the strength component this year is also a huge skill component. I don't know. Chew on that for a second and tell me what you think about that statement.
I don't need to chew on it. It's dumb.
Yeah, of course it is. Explain.
I want them to explain to me how they could think that. I don't have to explain myself because it's just a dumb statement.
The burden of proof is on them.
All right, Forrest. So you're the drug expert. So tell us, where'd you learn that? Cheech Drug School.
The only thing.
Tell us about it.
I mean, there's so many skilled movements. Like, yeah, you can do steroids. That doesn't mean like hang squat snatch. Snatch is a technical movement. Like, yeah, it can help you be stronger, but it's not going to do that. It's not going to.
But do you have?
It's not going to help.
But do you have the finesse to catch it in the bottom of a squat? They've eliminated the muscle / power snatch from the equation. So yeah, it's heavily relying upon that skill aspect. Same thing with the handstand walk.
Yeah. Same thing with legless. I mean, to be a big, strong dude on this, to be bigger and stronger than maybe what your frame should be at, I think will negatively impact you on that workout.
But considering how long we just sat here and talked about requisite strength as far as a strict handstand push-up, a legless rope climb.
Requisite, Forrest, hold on. Requisite relative strength, not absolute strength.
Okay, fine. But, I mean, still, these... I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't say that because I would not want to defend that argument.
Now, my understanding, and I'm gonna kind of back Forrest up on this
What?
a little bit, but
oh god, my
understanding-
audacity just crashed when you said that. It just
exploded. No, my understanding of the way steroids work, and you guys can correct me completely, is that it allows you to train harder more often. Is that
I think that's
true or false?
one of
It
the
helps you
many
recover.
perks.
one of the many perks?
Yes.
That and just flying into an uncontrollable rage and tossing your wife out the window.
yes, it increases your abilities to recover.
So, judging by that, and if we're talking about relative strength or any kind of strength, if you're training these movements and you're training skilled movements, and there's an athlete training those same movements with steroids versus an athlete training without steroids, then my opinion would be that the person training with steroids is still going to have an advantage over the guy training without steroids? Question mark?
I mean, no, that's kind of what I thought whenever
I agree.
Whenever the statement was given. I think it was kind of a misunderstanding or maybe a misapplication of what exactly steroids do.
I think that probably that person's viewpoint on steroids was that it just makes you huge and it has like a lot of, it just adds just overall strength and mass and weight, where in reality, like anyone who is using steroids within CrossFit, and I'm sure there's many people who do, they're not so dumb to just use steroids and lift a lot of weights. They're practicing all these movements that they know are going to pop up along the way of their CrossFit journey to hopefully the CrossFit Games. So I don't think that steroids are their only tool in their toolbox that they're leveraging to try and make it there. I think it's just something they use to.
Well, I mean, there's different steroids.
Yeah,
I mean, are we talking anabolics? I mean, most of the time when someone brings this up with sports or lifting, we're talking about anabolic steroids. I mean, all you're going to get from that, better recovery, more lean muscle growth. So, I mean, I don't know.
Isn't that exactly what a potential games athlete is shooting for us?
Yes.
shooting up for?
Yes.
Yes.
But it does,
Forrest, do you shoot
I
up
mean-
in your ass? Do you put it in your ass cheek, anabolics?
depends if you're doing a sub-Q or intra like muscular. You just got to find either a fatty spot or a more lean spot. So I mean, most of the time you're going to see.
Hey,
people
Forrest, I
putting
love
it-
that you've turned our podcast into a how-to use steroids podcast. This is great.
Well, I gotta-
What if I have 2% body fat and I'm trying to shoot up?
Sucks for you, bro. But yeah, I mean, like there's steroids that can do anything. I mean, you can get lean, you can get big, you can do whatever. I think personally, in my opinion, I think the steroids thing is a little overblown in CrossFit, because if you're doing CrossFit from vanity's sake and you're just trying to look good naked or look good in the mirror, hell yeah, man, go get you some steroids year round. Just pump yourself full of them, do whatever you want. You're gonna look great. But CrossFit has such a technical aspect to it that I just don't think steroids are going to get. They're not going to get you.
We're not okay.
L-
So
listeners,
we're not talking about you
yeah,
doing
lis-
steroids and getting to the CrossFit Games for us. We're talking about someone who has maybe been finishing top 15 at regionals or something, and they're trying to get to that next level where they can get on the podium.
It's not going to do it.
And they know how to train.
They're looking for the
they know how
ace
to
up
train
the sleeve.
CrossFit.
It's not going to do it.
They have the skill level. They have the technical proficiency. They know how to train, and they're just trying to get to that next level. And you're going to tell me that doing anabolic steroids is not going to help them get stronger and leaner to hopefully compete with the top athletes in their region. And I'm going to just preface this by saying I think you're wrong.
I don't
there.
think it's going to put them on the podium. Is it going to make them better? Yes. Can't deny that. But it's not
Well,
going
that's
to
the
put them on
point.
the podium. There's a difference. Not if you're telling me that somebody who's been finishing like 4th or 5th, maybe it might. But then you got to understand that like every year, every regional, every open, man, so much comes down to programming. What have you been training? What is Dave Castro going to throw at you? I just don't think that steroids are going to do. They're not going to solve all your problems. They may solve some. They're not going to solve all your problems.
No, let's say we have person A who is doing, and person B, and they're both doing all of the same things, and they're training the regionals workouts, and they're doing handstand walks, and they both have good training. We already started with that premise. And athlete B is doing steroids. I guarantee you that he is going to do better and move up farther in his regional rankings. Maybe he doesn't make the podium. That's his goal. Maybe he doesn't make the podium, but maybe he goes from 15th to 5th.
I mean,
And gets sponsorships, and then has money to train all the time,
course,
and do steroids all
this
the
is
time.
totally hypothetical, but I'm not sure of that, because I mean, what if you take somebody like Jason Kalipa versus Rich Froning? Like, there's an X factor there. There's like a
Wait. Are you saying that they don't take steroids?
I'm not going to say anything about that, but I'm just saying there's so
Give
many.
us the juice, Forrest.
There's so many X factors in CrossFit. Do you have just the balls to not put look at Kalipa is shorter. He's not as strong as Rich, but I mean, they've been doing CrossFit. Kalipa's been around longer than Rich has. And
But
then when you see them do,
you're getting into something.
I'm just comparing athlete A to B. This is just the A and the B that I've chosen. And you see them do a Fran, which I think Kalipa actually has like a faster Fran. Or you will take, for instance, the last workout in the Open. Like, I think that Kalipa should beat Rich in that Metcon, but he didn't, because there's an X factor that Rich Froning has that some athletes have, where they don't put the damn barbell down. They don't stop. They just go. They've got that motor. So yes, steroids will help you.
I think you're talking about.
But I'm just saying there's so many
I think you're talking
things.
about something completely different.
No, I'm just saying that there's
which
so
is-
many things in CrossFit, like skill, recovery, mental fortitude,
No,
that I
I'm
don't
not-
think that just taking steroids is going to answer this person's problem. Will they do better?
We're not.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to do better. That's the point. Like, we're not talking about other X factors. Like, you're talking about Jason Kalipa and Rich Froning. Rich Froning was born genetically superior and way more athletic. He has hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
Which
Rich
Kalipa does
Froning.
not.
Rich Froning has more.
Like, that's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Like, Kalipa gets by muscling through everything.
Kalipa's worked
Rich is
double
super
as
efficient.
hard as Rich has to get where he is. Rich,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Rich has some God-given. You're never going to out-train genetics. Like you can take someone in the NFL, for example, and like those guys for the most part are just genetically gifted.
unless
like,
they play for the
born-
Browns.
Unless they play for the Browns.
Hey, that's
And
my
then-
team, asshole.
Or the Bungles. Don't forget the Bungles suck pretty bad.
Any
too.
Ohio team.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't out-train genetically gifted people who are just so far away, and that's a different issue altogether.
See, I don't know. I'm on a different train there. I believe that the person who works harder can beat that person who has the genetics. Maybe not every time, but
They can, but I'm saying they can beat them if they're training harder, but if they're both training at the same level, the person who is genetically gifted is going to win every time if you keep everything else the same. We're not talking about someone who's genetically gifted and sits on the couch eating 20-piece nuggets every day, and then someone who's less genetically gifted who works out all the time. It's not the same thing.
I do want to say for the listeners at home that the views and opinions of Forrest Long are not the same views and opinions shared by the Storm and Teacup entity.
Licensed copyright trademark by
or the
Storm
other
and
three
Teacup,
people who own
2013. Wait, it's 2014.
Wow.
Okay, so I think we killed that. I
Yep,
think
we did.
That was a great little thing to end on.
Hey, before we end today,
Let's do
we haven't said this yet, but it was kind of an ego stroke, but in our little hiatus that we took because Daddy Longs was traveling all over the country peddling his wares, and I was kind of doing the same.
You were doing your door-to-door
door-to-door.
sales.
Sales door to door.
How are vacuum sales,
selling?
Caleb?
Man, they're doing well these days. Yeah, but it was good to hear from a bunch of the listeners like, hey man, I'm jonesing for an episode. So because I got a little bit of face-to-face feedback, I feel like we could use a little bit more interweb support. So go like our Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff right now. Stop what you're doing.
This minute.
Go do it. Look us up on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. We are The Storm in a Teacup on Facebook, and we are Storm in a Teacup podcast on Twitter. And if there's anything that you want to hear us rant about or discuss, or anything you want Forrest to get pissed off about, tell us about it. Post it on our Facebook profile. Think about it. Chew on it.
Send us messages, because Forrest never checks the Facebook, so
Very true.
we can get those and we can just surprise him with them.
We have
later.
a Facebook?
That's always fun.
We do have a Facebook page.
Can you say that Facebook page one more time so I can go
Indeed.
like it?
The Storm in a Teacup is the name of our podcast, Forrest.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Guys, do you have anything else?
Yeah, Taylor sucks. as much as the Browns and Bengals.
Hey, don't get mad at me because I explained pharmacy to you. I explained your own job to you.
The only drugs that exist are steroids.
Wait, I do want to say this. Taylor made the distinction that it was not just steroids, it was anabolic steroids, which always makes me chuckle because who the hell is taking catabolic steroids? Like, why do people even make that differentiation now? Okay.
It just makes him sound smarter.
That's true.
He is a doctor.
That's like one of 3 4-letter,
Maybe-
4-syllable words I know. So
Maybe we at the Storm in a Teacup podcast should bring back catabolic steroids. Maybe that's what we should start doing.
Taylor-
What do you think I've been on for the past 10 years? Look at me.
Damn,
You've been on-
never mind.
what would a catabolic steroid do?
Grant.
The exact opposite of anabolic.
Let's not lie.
Catabolic
That
breaks
sounds
down
terrible.
muscle tissue.
You've been on
Emaciates.
anabolic because your freaking ass is huge. You got no shoulders. You got no abs, but you got a butt the size of a friggin' Lincoln Town Car. So
Yeah, and you were saying that pistols
That's-
aren't my thing. You're so dumb.
you got crappy ankle flexibility, dog. I've seen you. It's horrible.
All right. I can't
It's
wait
'cause
to
he walks
do
around in Ollie
Nasty
shoes
Girls
24/7.
version 2 with you.
I think we should film it. We should film it and put it on the Storm in a Teacup.
Hey, we should film
God.
it, and Forrest, A, I will beat you, but B, we both will beat Brandon Bergen.
Can we just? I saw that. Can we just do regular Nasty Girls? I don't want to do 150 pistols.
No, I want to see the pistol action going
Yep.
on.
That's the whole point. is to make
Pistol
you do
Pete
pistols.
Forrest over here. Let's see you go.
Right.
Hey,
Well, we
Taylor.
need to turn the volume. We need to mic up his knees because that would just be the perfect soundtrack.
Mic'd up, Storm in a Teacup edition.
Taylor, I can't wait to see you up in Chicago, man. It's been fun, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.